Hello everyone and welcome back to another video from the Francofile. It is Jalen and Maria and we hope you all are doing well. In today's video, we will be doing a little Q&A session. So before we get into the video, as always, make sure you all check us out on social media, check out our website, like this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We recently put up a question box on our Instagram story and let you all ask us questions, and we're going to answer as many as possible today, and we're really excited, so thank you for sending those questions to us. The first question is, curious about financing a master's in France, do you get government aid? The short answer is no, we do not get government aid. We both paid less than 300 euros for our tuition at our public school in France, and we pay for our life with our savings. There are programs that exist that you can use, United States Department of Education government aid, but that is not our case. Second question is, how have your professors treated you as American students?
For me personally, my professors have treated me really nicely as an American student. They're always saying little jokes like, don't judge my English,
yes.
And Jalen's American, he might know about this. So I mean, I really think they enjoy having me there, especially in English class. But I don't get like any special treatment as far as like grades or anything like that,
no.
but they are really nice to me.
Yeah, and I've had the same experience, and they've also been really helpful in understanding when I need clarification on things that maybe I've never done before. And like you said, there's always the joke that comes in every once in a while about Americans or America, but it's a good time and we're really pleased with how we've been treated. Okay, the next question is the best and worst parts of TAPIF. As you all know, we've written pretty extensively on the blog as well as posted here on YouTube about our experience, and we documented the good and the bad, but we'll recap a little bit for you here.
I think the best parts for me were the fact that we had so much time off to be able to do whatever, whether it's explore your town or explore all of Europe or just other parts of France. I really enjoyed that, so that was one of the best parts for me.
Yeah, we loved going on our little vacations, which like I said, you can find documented. They're fun videos to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe we can link some.
Yeah.
And I think the two worst parts, there really is no worst part, we had a great time with the program, but the two parts that were more negative would be the salary being pretty low and the teaching. We did not love teaching English.
Teaching English was not.
It was a fine job. Our colleagues were super nice and the kids were, for the most part, super awesome, but it just isn't what we want to do, and so teaching English for a whole school year when you don't really like being an English teacher is not the best. But we're really grateful for our experience with the program, and we know we would not be where we are right now if we didn't have that year with TAPIF, and so definitely recommend the program with the highs and lows.
Yeah.
The next question is TAPIF application advice. We do have a whole article about how to apply for TAPIF, so that might help you in the more technical advice area. We'll link that below so that you can read that. But I think the advice that we give to everyone is to be honest on your application, and also be open. If you only select, for example, the Paris region because your heart is set on living in Paris for the school year, you're probably going to be disappointed because everyone else is doing the same thing. So be honest about your French skills and then be open to working anywhere, and I think that's the advice that we give people as far as the application goes.
Okay, so our next question is, have you had any classic French bureaucracy problems? Like you call 1,000 different people who all say, sorry, we can't do that for you.
I think our first obstacle that we ran into was with our TAPIF placement, when our couple status wasn't taken into account and we were placed pretty far apart, and we had to navigate emailing and chatting with 1,000 different people who all were saying, well, I don't know, and I don't know how that could have happened.
Yeah.
We ended up getting it worked out, of course, but I think that was our very first French bureaucracy issue.
And then outside of the placement, we've run into bureaucracy with CAF, the French Social Security, getting signed up for classes here, getting our visas. Each one of those processes had something go wrong and someone telling us we did something wrong or they made a mistake or we forgot to do this. It's a given, it's gonna happen. So yes, that's happened to us quite a bit, but
nothing extraordinary, nothing that has really impeded any of the processes.
Nothing crazy,
just the norm.
But you always have to keep pushing, and you will get through the French bureaucracy one way or another. All All right, so this next question is, do you ever feel pressure to sound native or perfect when you speak French?
The answer for me is no. I really don't. I'm not sure if it's because of how long I've been learning it or how long I've been interacting with native speakers, but I'm just not really embarrassed anymore of my small accent and maybe, the few mistakes that get sprinkled in or having to ask for a word that I just can't remember off the top of my head. I have proven to myself time and time again that I can get what I need to be communicated across, and I can also succeed in an academic setting. So I don't really bother myself with trying to sound perfect, and I certainly don't beat myself up over small errors that happen, because there's really no point in doing so. French people are impressed that you can even say 2 words when you're American, so
Yeah.
So I don't really feel that pressure, no.
For me, I wouldn't say I feel like a pressure, but I guess I do, but it's a pressure like coming from myself. When I'm into learning languages and when I do so, I really try my best to sound like a native. That's one of the big parts of language learning for me personally. A lot of people say that the accent doesn't matter as much, but for me, it matters. So I try and sound as perfect as possible when it comes to accent and vocabulary and everything, and I still make mistakes, and unlike Maria, I do beat myself up over it. Like I really am like, okay, why did you say that like that or whatever? And so
it's something that you should work on though.
Yeah, I should probably work on that.
It's unnecessary.
It's like I'm my own biggest critic, but just being honest.
Yeah, but I think the result of that is that he does have like a really awesome accent that he's constantly complimented on. And I get compliments on my French, but every time we speak together, people are like, wow, you both speak French so well. And he doesn't have an accent at all, but you have a small, cute little accent. And so I think that's the proof of like, I'm talking to get what I needed to be said, communicated, and you're talking to really show off your perfection. Yeah. Okay, the next question is, why should one do or not do TAPIF according to us?
Okay, so for why someone should do TAPIF, TAPIF is a great opportunity to spend an extended amount of time abroad without it being a vacation, because I mean, you get paid to do it, which is awesome, and you're really living in a different country, so you get to experience the culture and just open your eyes to new things. So I think that's a great reason to do it.
I think there's also just as many reasons not to do it. Like even if we focus on what you just mentioned, if you're looking to actually make a good amount of money, this is not the program for you. It's enough money to live and it not be a vacation and you having to, pull constantly out of your savings, but it's certainly not like a super well-paying job. And it also requires you to be really independent. It requires you to have a level of French that a lot of people, I think, maybe underestimate, and it requires you to be able to face difficulties abroad that you've never faced before, basically completely alone. So while it's an awesome opportunity, like you said, I think there's definitely some people who it's not the best. Yes, it's not the right fit. Okay, the next question is, what is the best part of living in France?
There's a lot, but I'll say that one thing that I really like about living in France, I guess, people often cite the pace of life, and I like that a lot too. In the situation that I'm in as a student, which I have been before in America, I just feel more at ease, more relaxed. Even when I had the difficulties at the beginning of the school year, I just feel like people are more into just enjoying life, and so that's something that I feel like rubs off on me, and I like it a lot.
I think for me, at least at the point in life that I am right now, I love the fact that I'm able to live an awesome lifestyle with pretty limited resources. I know that if I were in America and doing my master's degree, there's no way that I could ever pay for that master's degree in cash and also continue to live my life. And so the fact that the cost of education is so low here allows me to live an awesome lifestyle and allows me to be independent, and that's something that I couldn't do that in America, and so that's, for me right now, that's the best part.
For sure. So our next question is, where would you prefer living for a year, Lyon or Strasbourg, holistically speaking? So I think I speak for both of us when I say that we would prefer to live in Strasbourg. One reason, well, I'll just go through a few, but the size of the city, it's not too big.
Right.
Like Lyon is really big.
Yeah.
Where it is in Europe and in France in general, I like that location. The weather's really nice, in our opinion.
Yeah.
Some people would call that bad weather, but,
Yeah, but
I like bad weather. And also just our history with this region of France in general. The region that we're in is called Grand Est, and Strasbourg is in Grand Est. And we really like that region of France. The architecture, the people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is, what are some must-knows for a first-time traveler to France?
I think whether you're coming for vacation or coming to stay for longer, one of the most important things to know is that French people are not as mean as people make them out to be. If you are polite, if you learn a couple of words in French, ideally more, but if you say hello to people when they say hello to you, if you say please and thank you, they're really welcoming people, and you'll have a great time whether you're on vacation or staying, and that will serve you well. Don't come to France with the preconceived notion that Parisians or French people in general are mean or snarky or won't help you, because it's not true.
Yeah, and also on that, like, you will run into people who are rude, but it's not because they're French, it's just because they're rude that day or having a bad day. Like, it's normal. So.
But I think if you come with the attitude that you're going to be as polite as possible, you will be rewarded for that, and you will see that. You'll see perhaps that people who think all French people are rude, maybe they're the rude ones.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, has it been difficult to meet other students in lockdown? I think the real answer to the question is that we have been really strictly respecting the lockdown rules, and so it's not just been difficult, it's literally impossible. We aren't meeting up with other students at this time.
Yeah.
We've met plenty of students before we went into lockdown while we were still going to school, and we've kept in contact with them. But we haven't, there's no parties, there's no let's all meet up at someone's house or let's go shopping. That's all, not possible right now. So it's been difficult, yes, I suppose. It's been impossible.
Yeah.
Okay, this question is, what are your favorite / most essential stores in France for clothes, housewares, etc.? Sorry to disappoint, but we really don't shop all that much. It's not that we don't enjoy it, but it's just not really in our lifestyle or in our budget at the moment to shop, especially not for clothes.
Yeah.
And as far as housewares, our apartment was furnished and we pay the rent, and that is our housewares.
Yeah, honestly. If we ever want something small, like you like candles a lot, if we want little things like that, then we'll go to a store in France called Monoprix. They have all sorts of stuff like school supplies, makeup. I guess it's kind of like Target.
I think it's very much like Target.
Because they do have groceries too.
Yeah, there's a grocery section, there's school supplies, there's candles, like you said, little house items.
Yeah, but as far as like decorations for the walls and curtains and stuff like that, like no, we don't.
One day we will.
Yeah,
one
day.
those
but
things.
we're just poor students right now.
Yeah.
And for people who might want to do studying in France, you have to prove that you have certain amounts of money, blah blah blah. So we like to save a lot at this point in our life.
Every penny counts.
Yep.
Okay, the next question is, what are our favorite atypical things about France? Things that people don't usually cite enjoying, I suppose. I think for both of us, really, it kind of falls under the umbrella of sustainability.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times we'll watch videos or read articles and people will complain about things that we actually really enjoy. For example, we don't have a dryer and we've realized that we don't need one. And we don't have a shower that hangs on the wall. You have to like take it down and wash yourself, which means you can't just leave the shower running, which means we use less water. And people complain about that, but we actually like it because we use way less hot water.
Yeah.
You, for example, like we don't have a car here, and he loves public transportation. I do as well. I think I really introduced you to the love of public transit. But the bus, the tram, the train, etc. We love doing that, and we don't care about not having a car. Like at this point, like it's all the things that people complain about, we consider to be upgrades in our life. Like, what do I need a dryer for? Why do I need to pay for that electricity? Why?
Yeah.
What do I need a shower that runs hot water for however long? I don't. Why do I need a car when I can take the bus? So
yeah, sustainability, I guess.
And the next question is, was making friends in France difficult or easy for you? For me, the first time I came to France was when I was 15, and I did it with an exchange program, which means that I met a lot of people, and I also never lost contact with my host family. And so one of my best friends is a French girl, which means that we've been going back and forth all these years. I'm now 23, and we've never lost contact, and we've seen each other quite a lot. And so we already have a pretty solid base of people that I've known for a long time, and that as you know, he came into my life, he's been introduced as well.
Yeah. And
so in that way, it's been pretty easy.
Yeah.
And as
you set us up.
Yeah. But as far as new friends, especially this year for our master's degree, it's been a little bit harder, like we touched on, because of the lockdown. But we have met some people who are definitely have friend potential.
Yeah, for sure.
So once we get out of the lockdown, hopefully we'll be able to
foster those relationships.
Yes, indeed. Okay, the next question is, what moments abroad were real turning points for you? I don't necessarily have a turning point other than when I came to France when I was 15, I decided that I needed to live here when I was older. And so I think that was my turning point that I could point to.
Before I came to France, I had been to both Canada and Ireland. And I think both of those places gave me the idea or the possibility in my mind that like going abroad again or living abroad could be something cool to maybe do. I had no concrete plan. But I think a real turning point for me was actually after I got to France and we went and sat in a park, and I was just sitting there like thinking like, what have I done?
The weight of really being out of the country with all of your belongings in a suitcase.
Yeah, I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that was a funny time, but also a turning point.
Okay, for the last question we have, what has changed the most about you while in France?
Honestly, I would say that nothing really has changed since we've been in France, as far as like our personalities or our habits. We're the same people.
Yeah.
Same people. Jayla and Maria taking on the world together. We're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and a little bit further along in our little dream of ours. So
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, no real big changes.
No. All right, everyone, those are our questions for today. Thank you so much for everyone who participated. If you like this sort of video, or if you have any sort of other questions, you know where to find us on our social media, on our website. And yeah, make sure you like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we will see you all in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye.